Alright boys, I know I said I wasn't going to upload World of Warcraft videos, but I am 100% bone dry on ideas since neither of the next gen consoles are even remotely available, and still we're sort of just in this stuck situation where there's nothing going on for the time being. So anyway, I've been playing a lot of Shadowlands since release, so I felt it's time to give my first impressions now that the first week is over, and I've pretty much played every day non-stop, and I got my rogue to about 169 item level, which is, I would say, pretty okay. I know there's a lot of people with mythic gear and stuff. I've got one mythic piece, okay? Cut me some slack. One thing I would like to do before we start this video is give the information that I am a returning player from Wrath of the Lich King, which was back in 2008. And I played all the way up until Icecrown Citadel was released. I wasn't a super hardcore player back then, as you know, I was 15. I got as far as I think Sarfang in my like B or C team group. I was a part of a guild named, I think it was Crisp or something. And I just kind of stopped playing because I was moving around and shit. My stepdad was in the military, so I just kind of stopped playing a while ago, and I just never really got back into it. I sort of went back and forth with expansions. I played a little bit of Legion. I played very little of BFA. Like, I had nothing going on in BFA, but Legion, I think I played for a comfortable amount of time, but yeah, I pretty much didn't do much of anything else. I've kept up with most of the lore, but in terms of like gameplay mechanics and super heavy changes, I pretty much have no fucking idea what went on during the years of like Mob, Cataclysm, you know, all those other expansions. I really have no clue. I know you didn't ask for my life story, but I felt it was needed to be said so you guys know where my mind is at, as since I'm basically a returning from what, a 12-year break, and so all these changes and things that have happened, this is coming from the perspective of a person that had the last real memories of WoW when they were like heavily playing are from 12 years ago. So you'll have to just cut me some slack if like you guys are used to something and I'm not. Like the fact that at one point in Legion people were doing 1,000,000 DPS. What the fuck? So immediately, my first thoughts are just, back in my day, I had to spam in general chat for 2 hours just to find a group that wanted to run dungeons. Basically what I'm saying is this whole like finding groups for shit and everything, this seems to have gotten way more easier. I've known about the group finder for a little while, but I haven't really ever put it much into practice since like I've returned even back in Legion. I didn't really use it all that much, and mainly because I didn't really play that much either. But I don't know if I like it or hate it, to be honest. I enjoy the convenience of just being able to queue for a dungeon and just speed running levels, but with that being said, I've lost that community feeling that I used to love, which, you know, essentially being I really enjoyed knowing everybody on my server. Like, I knew everybody back in the day, and now you got people coming from different servers. I don't even know what the hell. It just feels a bit disconnected from the community. It is more largely accessible to get into, like, for new players, but just I don't know, I kind of just maybe miss the old days where I knew everybody and felt like I had a place in a belonging in a community, and now it's like I'm just another number added to the World of Warcraft directory, so it is what it is. Now, I know that's not really a huge portion of Shadowlands because that's been in the game for a very long time, but I wanted to just, you know, touch on it for a quick moment because new players may be coming in like myself, or I'm not really a new player, but I might as well be. But people that are maybe not used to it, or just from the perspective of an older player, is what it is. Now, questing was a huge part of Shadowlands. You need to run through the main story at least once in order to unlock the Covenants, which are the factions within Shadowlands that offer a huge array of special abilities and armor sets, which, by the way, pretty cool. I kind of like this. Each of them have their own unique story setting and objectives, which is rather strange to me because, once again, back in my day, we just had the Horde and Alliance, and we fought at Wintergrass for eons. So seeing all these like other factions made me just feel like Alliance and Horde seems so pointless now. Like, why are there even two different sides? We all work together anyway to overcome evils at this point. Like, do we even fight each other? I don't know anymore. Anyway, going through quests was actually kind of hard, especially as a rogue, because I felt like I did no damage at first, and it's probably because I fucking didn't, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And yeah, it basically was that. I was playing an assassination rogue, which apparently is dog shit currently. I don't know whether or not that is totally accurate. I haven't done much research into it, but the moment I switched to Outlaw, and sub, I was having no issues whatsoever. So I'm just gonna assume that assassination isn't great. Plus, that's what people are telling me anyway, that sub is really good right now, and outlaw has pretty much always been good, which outlaw, what the fuck is outlaw? Back in my day, we had the best rogues for raid DPS, and they would always use the spec. I believe it was called combat. Either which way, it still wasn't easy by any degree because I took a million damage from just about anything, but I was questing with an overpowered monk that did way more damage than me and could heal, so yeah, it feels really good to be a rogue. So I just got carried through the entire quest line, and as far as the story goes, I would rank them as Ardenweald being the most interesting, Maldraxxus being just the murder cult for anyone who doesn't give a shit, Bastion for the Snorefest, and Revendreth for emo kids. That's pretty much, it's fairly accurate. When it comes to their abilities, however, they actually have a sort of meta to them. It's not hugely to the point where if you pick one, it's severely better than the other, at least in terms of a rogue. I felt like I could do any of them and I would be perfectly fine, but for something like my paladin, Bastion was the only one that made any real sense, considering that my paladin is a healer, so I guess depending on what class you play, you may get different performance from your Covenant abilities, so I guess do some research in whatever makes the most sense. I didn't really do a lot of research, I just kind of went with Night Fae because I thought they were cool at first, and I liked the Sepsis ability. I thought it fit pretty well with sub, but maybe I made the wrong choice. It's week 1. It's a bit too early to tell, in my opinion. I really like this aspect a lot, especially as a paladin healer, since we don't have a lot of AoEs, and with the Bastion ability, it is incredibly strong, adding a 5-person holy shock. That is absolutely fantastic. I feel like these Covenant, depending on your playstyles, you could really strengthen your weak points in whichever character you play, depending on what abilities that are available to you. The Paladin one, I was really surprised that they gave us one of those because we're a great single target, but when it comes to AoE, we kind of really don't got a whole lot going on, so that 5-man holy shock is really thick. Now, let's talk about dungeons. I gotta be honest, I hate just about all of them except like 3. Probably an unpopular opinion, but hey man, that's just me, alright? I just feel like they replaced difficulty with tedium. I've ran literally all of them on normal and most of them on heroic and 1 mythic, and the difficulty spike is rather low between all 3 of these modes. I felt like I could just forehead my way through the dungeons while just mindlessly dodging garbage on the floor. And most of the dungeons are either just tank and spank, attack adds. They added some new stuff like puzzles in that Ardenweald dungeon, but I gotta be honest, it sucks dick. Instead of creating challenging boss fights, it feels like they just wanted to make something feel challenging when in reality, it's just a chore to simulate the thought. Outside of dungeons, we have Torghast, which is actually a nice addition that adds a little more content to the game. The whole point of Torghast is to farm Soul Ash for Legendaries, which we'll go into momentarily, but you essentially go through a sort of tower climb game mode where you beat levels and advance to the next. And at the end, you will fight a boss that actually is kind of hard, maybe a little too fucking hard. As a sub-rogue, this shit feels impossible. At 169 item level, I barely was able to clear floors 1 and 2 on the lower levels. Once I got to the 3rd lower level, I couldn't even what is this? I'm gonna put this on the screen really quick. I want you to know this is just a random elite mob that is just within Torghast, right? And this is the lower level, level 3, right? I am struggling. I'm popping every CD I have just to down this guy. And keep in mind, this is just elite mob, nothing intense, nothing special. I don't, maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe I missed something, but the boss is going to have more health than this guy, is going to do more damage than this guy, and I can barely kill this guy popping every CD I have. This shit is stupid. I feel like there needs to be an added item level sort of suggestion for this, because I had assumed that you can just kind of go through this shit with ease. Hell, I even tried the upper levels at level 3 as well. No dice, absolutely not. There is no way I can do that shit at all without having mythic gear. No way. And this shit sucks because it just means I'm gonna have to wait more weeks in order to farm Soul Ash rather than being able to just knock out the cap every week. So this is rather frustrating as a rogue, because if I can't find a group or somebody to help me through this, or just have amazing gear to where I can do it myself, I'm just basically gonna have to sit back on the bench and just wait for my time to shine. design, which just really just isn't great. It's a nice addition, I'll give it that. Torghast is fun, I like the idea of it. It's really going back to just the roots of video games where you beat a level, advance to another level that's super hard, and then eventually you get to that, you know, last boss that's really gonna give you something that just feels amazing. You get a good boss fight, it's challenging, there's mechanics involved, it's great. The idea is fan-fucking-tastic, but you gotta balance it around all the classes. You can't be like, mages are fine, locks are fine, pallies are fine, rogues, who cares anyway? Like, bruh, please. It's so bad that this guy had to make a 21-minute video on how to clear Torghast as a rogue. That's how bad that shit is, and even then he was still struggling, which is just absurd. But I will just say, maybe, just maybe it's me. I'll chalk it up that I need better gear perhaps, I need to be better at my class, figure out what I'm doing. I sort of know my rotation, I know what CDs I need to pop to do a lot of damage, typically on top of the DPS whenever I do mythics and heroics and whatever, but like overall, maybe I'm missing something. I'll refrain from being super angry at it until further notice. Now, onto something that I actually heavily dislike. We have the very accessible legendaries for every fucking class. I absolutely hate this with a fiery passion. As a proud owner of Thunder Fury, this is a fucking insult to me and everyone who busted their ass to get real legendary. This is a fake. This is fake news. I have a real legendary. This shit, this is just an epic with some paint on it. This is bullshit. I hate it. I actually fucking hate it. I remember the days when I saw someone with Shadowmourne and I was terrified but honored to see that shit. Now it's like expected to have a legendary, which is so absurd to me. It's a legendary, bro. Not everyone was meant to be a person that had a legendary. That is absurd. If you had one, you were among the elite. You had the absolute god level weapon that you worked and busted your ass for. Thunder Fury, you know what memories I have of Thunder Fury? My guild came together to build that thing for me. They saw that I got the bindings, and then they gave me all the materials. They farmed their asses off for months to give me the money and the mats to finish Thunder Fury. That's the memory. My legendary brought my guild closer as a community. That's what a legendary is. That shit's not just something that I got randomly. No, I earned that shit through friendship, through hard work, dedications, lots of no homework being turned in for weeks. I earned that shit, and now everybody just you do Torghast and there you go, guys. It's legendary. My biggest issue aside from that is that you're basically going to be able to buy legendaries with actual money. You obviously still have to put in a lot more effort into it, but essentially getting a legendary is as easy as spending like 45k gold or something like that. Prices are going to be jacked within the first few weeks, but eventually it will come down to the normality, and it's probably going to be around 100k, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. That's what I would guess. And you know what's worth 100k? $25. $25, 100k legendaries. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I've just I'm not seeing something. Correct me, but I feel like this is a bit foreshadowing. Listen, I don't care who you are or what you do. Legendaries used to mean something, and they're now more common than white drops. It's fucking fantastic. Holy shit. Overall, Shadowlands seems to be coming along pretty well. I may hate the legendaries thing, but I still enjoy Shadowlands. I mean, I'm playing it still. Typically, every expansion that I've tried to come back to, I quit within like a week, maybe two. But I've actually still want to progress, and I really do give a shit about getting better gear and being better at PvP, maybe getting into arenas, doing more mythics. I'm really having a lot of fun. It really is. Now I think I just need to maybe find a guild to kind of set myself in a community, and I think I might actually give a shit about WoW again, but we'll see where it goes within the next month or so. But anyway, sorry for the incredibly long video. I really just wanted to talk about Shadowlands because it's kind of been itching at me for a while, so we'll go back to the normality within the next day or so. But that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.